Japan has made some amazing cars over the years, and in this video, I'll be going over 13 of the best JDM cars under $5,000. Stay until the end because the top 3 cars might surprise you. Number 13. DSM Mitsubishi Eclipse. The Eclipse has become a very popular car over the past couple years, and that's for a very good reason. The Eclipse is an amazing vehicle to modify. It looks great, and you can make decent power with one for fairly cheap. Stock. They come with an inline-4 which makes a respectable 210 horsepower to the front wheels. The Eclipse is destined to become a future classic and prices will definitely continue rising, so if you want one, now would definitely be the ideal time to pick one up. Number 12. Acura TL. 3rd generation. The Acura TL is a great-looking car. It definitely stands out from all the other generic cars on the road, but something everyone fails to realize is that the TL also comes with a good engine to modify. It features a 3.2-liter V6 which makes 270 horsepower, which is sent to the front wheels. On top of the good speed, the car also only weighs 3,400 pounds, which means it has a good power-to-weight ratio. The engine it comes with is also a good engine to modify, so passing 300 or even 400 horsepower shouldn't be too difficult with a 3rd gen TL. Number 11. Lexus LS400. The LS400 looks like a boring family sedan, and technically it is, but it has something special. It features a Toyota 4-liter V8 which makes 260 horsepower to the rear wheels. This is one of the many rear-wheel drive cars on this list, so keep watching. The LS400 looks surprisingly good, and with its rear-wheel drive layout, it could even be turned into a drift car. Unfortunately, the LS400 only came with an automatic transmission, but it's very easy to swap a manual transmission into it. Overall, the LS400 is a good blend of practicality, reliability, and fun. Number 10. Honda Prelude. 3rd generation. The Prelude is easily one of the most forgotten about and overlooked cars of its era. The Prelude is a small coupe, and this specific generation, which was made from 1988 to 1991, this generation featured a 2.1-liter inline-4 which made 140 horsepower. Obviously, if you were to buy the car to modify, it would be an amazing platform to swap a newer engine into. On top of all this, the Prelude has several very unique features. It had pop-up headlights which looked amazing, and it also featured 4-wheel steering which was very ahead of its time. Overall, the Prelude is a very slept-on car, but I don't think it'll always be that way. Number 9. Mazda Miata and B. No list would be complete without the Miata. It is the basic, go-to sports car, but since every car list talks about it, I'll keep this entry short. The Miata is a very small, very light sports car, and despite not having a lot of power, they handle very well and are great to drive around corners. They also feature an engine that wouldn't be very hard to turbocharge, which means you can make more power and make the car more fun. Number 8. Acura Integra. 3rd generation. The Integra is a good car in every aspect. It looks cool, is comfortable, has a massive aftermarket following, and is great for a budget build. The specific model you want to look for is an Acura Integra GSR. They come with a 1.7-liter inline-4 making 160 horsepower. Fortunately, there is still a Honda, which means it is unbelievably reliable and good for making decent power. Build the engine a bit, slap on a turbo, and you have a pretty powerful car. Number 7. Toyota Celica GTS. In this entry, I'll be referring mainly to the 7th generation Celica. This generation Celica GTS features a 1.8-liter inline-4 engine which makes a respectable 180 horsepower. Unfortunately, the Celica is front-wheel drive, but that shouldn't scare you away because due to its light weight, the Celica is still a decent handling car. On top of all this, it looks really good. It looks like a cool sports car, which it is. I'd highly recommend the 7th generation Celica to anyone who wants a really cheap sports car. Just be aware that this generation Celica is notorious for burning oil and even blowing engines. Number 6. Subaru WRX. The WRX, like the Lancer, is one of the kings of rally cars. The WRX features all-wheel drive and a 2-liter Boxer 4 engine which made 218 horsepower, which was paired to a manual transmission. The WRX certainly isn't the best-looking car out there, but it's far more capable than many other cheap cars, and the WRX also has a massive aftermarket following, so they're extremely easy to get parts for. The only thing you should look out for when buying a WRX is its tendency to blow head gaskets. Other than that, it's a great car for under $5,000. Number 5. Mitsubishi Lancer Ralliart 10. The Lancer, more specifically the Lancer Evolution, has become one of the most legendary cars ever made, and with that title status, that means that you'll have to pay over $40,000 for a Lancer Evolution. But if you want some of the Evolution's performance, get the Ralliart. The Lancer Ralliart is just one step down from the Evolution. The Ralliart comes with a turbocharged 2-liter inline-4 which makes 237 horsepower to an all-wheel drive drivetrain. The Lancer Ralliart is also available as a 5-door liftback, which means you can get a hatchback version if you don't want a sedan. Number 4. Acura RSX Type S. Acura has made some great vehicles over the years, but very few are as good as the RSX. It features a 2-liter inline 4-cylinder which makes 200 horsepower to the front wheels. The RSX was sold as the successor to the Acura Integra, which ended production in 2001. The RSX is essentially just a dressed-up Civic, which means that it is extremely reliable and very good to make power with. Number 3. Mazda Rx-7 FC. The Rx-7 is one of the most legendary Japanese cars ever made. Usually when you think of the Rx-7, you think of the FD Rx-7, but they've appreciated in value a lot in recent years, since it'll be hard to get an FD. The second best option is the FC Rx-7. It comes with a Toyota rotary engine which makes 185 horsepower, which isn't too bad for a car that only weighs 2,700 pounds. Along with decent performance, the Rx-7 has pop-up headlights, which means it looks really cool. Number 2. Lexus SC300. The SC300 is a great car to modify. It features a naturally aspirated 2JZGE, which is an inline-6 that makes 215 horsepower. On top of amazing tuning potential, the car also looks fairly good. It is a rear-wheel drive layout, which means that it's infinitely more fun to drive than something that's front-wheel drive. Overall, the SC300 is a great car and it's going up in price rapidly. Number 1. Toyota MR2, second generation. The MR2 is unique in every aspect. There simply isn't a car like it. The MR2 was a mid-rear engine sports car developed by Toyota throughout the 1990s and 2000s. The generation I'm referring to, the second generation, featured a 2-liter inline-4 which made 163 horsepower to the rear wheels. It's an amazing car. Unfortunately, the MR2 has become known for something called snap oversteer, which essentially causes the car to oversteer and lose control. What causes it is decelerating while going through corners or high speeds. Although I wouldn't recommend this car to newer drivers, I do still think it is a great car for someone who has a bit of driving experience. Comment some other cheap Japanese cars I may have missed, and while you're down there, feel free to subscribe.